Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining this Glee Exhibitor workshop today. My name is Rosanna and I'm one of the producers here at Glee. Before we dive into the workshop, I'd like to share a couple of housekeeping points with you all. You may have noticed that there is a Q&A function on the webinar platform. We welcome any questions that you have throughout. So please do enter your questions using this function and introduce yourself when you pop your question in there. And we will be dedicating some time at the end to work through those questions. But first, I would like to hand over to our event director, Matt.
Thank you very much, Rosanna, and welcome to everyone joining us on the call today. For some of you, this is the first time you're exhibiting at Glee, so welcome to the exhibitor workshop. We have hosted this in other years, and we were very keen to have the exhibitor workshop for today. So over the next hour, hopefully you'll have some really good insight in maximising your investment. So first of all, thank you for choosing to exhibit at Glee, coming up now in just over 5 weeks' time, so it's fast approaching. So as I say, over the next hour, we'll take you through all the things that can maximise your presence at the show and really help you achieve return on investment for all things Glee. So let me just take you through, and keen to share with you to start off. Before we head on, please use the Q&A box and introduce yourself, because actually what I'd love to find out first of all is who you are, where you're from, and also if you are new to Glee or you are a returning customer. It'd be really good to know. So if you could do that, that would be great. So please use that. Secondly, what I'd like to do, as I say, is walk you through lots of tips, hints as well. I know we're very fortunate at the end of the presentation to be joined by Nigel and John from Baytree. Trevor will be interviewing later on and find out some really good insights into how they shop the show. So lots to think about, but as I say, just to kick off, let me share with you a little bit more about what's new this year. So first of all, I'll take you through just some of the stuff that's new. This is the floor plan as it stands at the moment for Glee 2023. Lots of newness this year as well. So overall, we've got 10 sectors at the show, which you'll feature in one of those as an exhibitor. And the 2 new sectors we are bringing into Glee, which are located towards the bottom of your plan, as you see, are our new areas where we're launching Source Garden, which will be new for us this year. And that's basically manufacturing. Got some interesting exhibitors coming from countries that can offer manufacturing for exhibitors or private label. And secondly, located in that area outside Hall 8 is the area for the DIY section, which is launching as well. So that's new for the show, which is great. Other than that, we've also got a new area for Fire Grill and Chill, which will be located now on the right-hand side of your plan there, outside the atrium. So it'll be the first thing that visitors see as they come into the show. And there'll be lots of cooking going on, demonstrating of products outside. And it will really create that theatre and festival feel as people come in. So that's just outside the atrium. That's going to be located there. We've also got the exciting launch of the Talent Store as well. So Talent Store is something we're working in partnership with the Garden Centre Association, which is centred around developing 24 individuals from garden centres, where basically they have been given great insight by experts in visual merchandising and inspiring them to come up with different ideas. So out on the atrium, we've created 2 pop-up stores where we've got the 12 out of the 24 finalists going through to present a houseplant pop-up store and an outdoor plantaria pop-up store. There is still opportunity for you guys as exhibitors to get involved and opportunities sponsorship-wise to be part of that. So Daniel McAlpin and our team, as well as the rest of the team, will be able to take you through if you do want to get involved. Also outside on the atrium is the Green Heart area, which will be back again. And linked into that, working with Michael Perry, Mr. Plant Geek, is the Future Plant section as well, which will also feature out there. And that's looking at plant specimens, which will be available for retail in the next 2 to 3 years. So what's future for retailing, as I say, on the plant side, which would be really interesting. And finally, the Glee Party. So this is open to exhibitors and visitors and will be on Tuesday, the 27th of June. And this is a great opportunity for you as exhibitors to invite customers on that day. And it starts from in the hall, actually, a soft opening at 5:15, but then we'll actually go outside at 6 p.m. onto the area on the fire grill and chill space. So please make sure you maximize that, invite customers, and really give them an opportunity to enjoy the party and network with them with the soft close when the show finishes. That's it from me, but please enjoy the rest of the hour, and there'll be lots for you to take on board. We're going to be available to answer questions at the end as well. So any questions that you have, please put in the chat bar as well on here, on the Q&A bar, and we'll be able to take you through and answer any questions that you've got. So the plan is to answer as many as we can. If we can't give you an answer on the day, we will come straight back as fast as we can. So handing over now to Alice McGrail on our operations team. Alice, it's over to you now.
That you guys, which hopefully you've all done, what you want to do is log into the exhibitor manual. So this is accessible via the eZone. So you should all have the login details for that. And Joe's going to take you through in more detail the eZone, and we'll show you how to access the exhibitor manual through that. So the exhibitor manual is your guide to the rules and regulations around the show. So when you enter the manual, it will show up with your stand name, stand number, and there is a sidebar down here which has got details on the checklist and forms. So just on the top here, we've got the list of these. So we're just showing the compulsory ones there. So details like the exhibitor badges, the shell scheme name board forms, the space only stand information form where you can submit your details there of who your space only contractors are, and also the traffic booking system. Under checklists and forms, there's also a range of non-compulsory forms, so for any added extras that you want for your stand, so any shell scheme extras such as furniture, any electrics, any catering requirements. So please do take a look into there. Pre-show, if you can complete all of those compulsory forms, that would be brilliant. And we would ask that you have a risk assessment with you on site for your stand and any activities that you are doing pre-show during the build-up and the breakdown period. On here as well, we've got details about the timetable on that sidebar. Your stand, so that's got all guidance for shell scheme exhibitors and also space only exhibitors. So all regulations and guidance around build on there. We've got a health and safety section. So if, for example, you're looking at perhaps bringing candles or have a water feature on your stand, please do take a look in there for guidance and submit the relevant health and safety forms. There's some more information about the venue and also some general information. Under the contact section, we have the list of our official show contractors. So these are our key contractors which are helping us to deliver the show. So please do take a look and place your orders through those. Those are our recommended ones. And if you do feel that you can't find anything or need to search for something particular because you're not sure what section it sits under, there is a handy search bar just on the side as well. So in terms of deadlines for the show, there is a range of deadlines. So what we would recommend is to get your orders in early. So a lot of our contractors offer early bird rates. So the sooner you place them, the better rate that you do get from them. So the electrics early bird deadline is Friday, the 26th of May. So please do submit any electrics ahead of then. For exhibitor badges, that form is available in the manual now. So please do complete that and print your badges when they're sent out to you and bring them on site. The health and safety form, if you could complete that for us now, that would be brilliant. If you are looking at having any special sort of requirements on your stand, such as perhaps animals or water features, there is some extra paperwork that may need to be completed. So anything sort of out of the ordinary, please send that over to us so we can get that information over to you and get it all signed off on our side. For shell scheme stands, the name board deadline is Tuesday the 6th of June. So it would be great if all of your listings are consistent. So anything that you're entering on our website, anything to go into the show preview and the show guide, and also on your name board, as this will help visitors find you and ensure you're represented in the way that you want to be on site. For space only, so the plan submission deadline is tomorrow, so it's Friday the 12th of May. So please do send those over to us as soon as possible so we can review those and give you guys permission to build. In terms of traffic booking, that is available now as well. And any venue services, the early bird deadline for that is Friday the 9th of June. So yeah, as I said, venue services and electrics, those ones do have an early bird deadline. So please do try and make those orders now to save you some money. So just moving through into the show timetable. So this is accessible again on the exhibitor manual. So build up for space only stands starts on Saturday, the 28th of June. And access is from 8 a.m. For shell scheme stands, access is from 3 p.m. on Sunday, so 1500 hours, and the halls are open till 8 p.m. on Sunday. And then Monday, the halls are open 8 till 10 p.m. For access for both space only and shell scheme. And we do ask that any stands are completed before 10 p.m. And the show open days, hopefully you all know these. These are the 27th to the 29th of June. So on the 27th, if you do need to do any little bits of tinkering to your stand, the halls are open from 7:30 a.m. Through till 7. And as Matt said, we have got the exhibitor party, the Glee party on that night. So please do feel free to stay after the show shuts at 6 to enjoy that. Wednesday, halls open 8 till 7. And the show open hours are 9 till 6. And then on Thursday, the show shuts at 4 o'clock and we move into breakdown. So breakdown will be from around 4 o'clock up until 10 p.m. And at 10 p.m, we do need all shell scheme stands to be cleared of product and shell scheme to depart the venue. And then Friday, we have another breakdown day for space only stands. So the end of that time is 4 p.m. on Friday. So in terms of any items that are left after that time at 4 o'clock on Friday, we will deem them as rubbish. So please do make sure that you are taking as much away with you as possible, as any costs for disposal of rubbish may be passed on to the relevant exhibitor as well. So in terms of build-up, the NEC operate a delivery platform called Voyage Control. So you can find this under the traffic booking system in the exhibitor manual. And any vehicle that comes on site to the NEC during the build-up period must go through this delivery system. So I would advise you take a look at the traffic booking system and booking your vehicles as soon as possible. So in terms of this, there is different access depending on what type of stand you are. So the booking system does relate back to our timetable. So please make sure that you're booking in when is relevant for your stand type. So as I said, any vehicle arriving to site must go through this. And on the Monday, there is a deposit system in place. So depending on your vehicle size, you will be given a certain time period duration to offload your vehicle. So, for example, for a car, it's around 1 hour, I believe. And to do this, there is a deposit system. So it is £80. But if you unload within that 1 hour, you do get that deposit back. So the reason that this is in place is to make sure that we can ensure the traffic flow around site and that everyone has the ability to offload their vehicle, and we don't have any gridlocks around the back of the halls. If you do have any issues on site, so perhaps anything that crops up that means that you are going to overstay that time period, please do visit your hall manager's office for any queries, and they will be able to discuss options with you. So it's easier for us to solve it in the moment as soon as it's flagged on site. So please do visit them if you are having any challenges. So on site at Glee, we will have contractor service desks. So these will be based near the hall entrances. So our official contractor, GES, will be based there. So any queries that you've got about electrics or your shell scheme extras or furniture that you've ordered with them, please do visit them there. Visit by GES, who do our lead capture devices, will also be present and will be based near the hall entrances as well. And then we've also got hall managers' offices. So these are sort of your go-to people that will be able to assist you with any queries that you've got on site. So please do follow the signage that's around and head to their offices to discuss anything. They will be able to point you in the right direction if you don't know who to speak to with any issues or orders that you may need to follow up with. There will be welfare stations around the halls, so please do help yourself to a cup of tea on us. And we will be sending out details around contractor registration. So we do ask that any contractor does register pre-show. So that will be going out via Essential Events. And in terms of exhibitor badges, please do register pre-event and bring these with you to site. So our top tips are pre-ordering. As we've talked about, if you can pre-order ahead of time, then you will be eligible for those early bird deadlines. Plan your merchandising and plan your deliveries. So please make sure that, you know, if you're a space only stand, that your stand is in a constructed state that is able to receive those deliveries and merchandise, as we want to keep the gangways as free as possible. And then also plan your breakdown to make sure that you can get in out within the time frame. So in terms of breakdown, I'm just going to touch on this in a bit more detail. So please don't worry, this may be a bit too much detail for now, but when you do come on site, please speak to your hall manager, as they will have relevant details and be able to guide you through it. So during breakdown, there is no need to book your vehicles in, so there is no booking system in place. On Wednesday, the 28th of June, we have got an early park up. So for cars and commercial vehicles under 7.5 tonnes, from 7 o'clock, you can park up at the lorry park. If you can leave your car overnight on site, that is. And then between the hours of 4 and 8, any vehicle that is manned will be released down to the back of the halls to park up behind there overnight. On Thursday, the 29th of June, so depending on your vehicle type, cars and cars with trailers will come through the gate, and they can report to the gate from 4 o'clock when the show shuts. So there is a lot of directional signage around site. You can see that picture there. So please do follow the relevant signage that the NEC have in place around breakdown. And then for commercial vehicles, so they will come through the lorry park. So like I just said, follow the signs to the lorry park to join the relevant queue. So queuing for the vehicles starts from around 7 o'clock in the morning on that Thursday, and we form queues for each hall. So from 4 o'clock, vehicles will be allowed down to the back of the hall, depending on space. So any vehicle that is manned, that is. So from 4 o'clock, please head up to the car park, the lorry park, sorry, to join the queue to make your way down to the stand. and the back of the halls. So, like I said, there is limited space around the back of the halls, so you may find that some halls move quicker than others, and this is due to the amount of space that we have behind there. So please do be patient. We want to manage the traffic so that we avoid a gridlock around site. And there may be sort of sometimes that you have to wait, but that's to ensure the safety of everyone outside and inside the hall. So during breakdown inside the hall, so the show shuts at 4 o'clock, and breakdown will commence for us once all visitors, especially children, have left the halls and it's safe for us to do so. So electrics will be turned off at 4:30. If you do require late electrics to stay on after that point, so if you've got a water feature that needs the water pumping out of it, please do flag that with GES and book that late electrics time through them. Gangway carpets will be removed from the halls when it's safe to commence, and no trolleys will be allowed into the halls from outside until it is safe to do so. So stand removal for space onlys and product packing can commence after the show has shut. And please do listen out for the tannoy announcements and updates on the progress of breakdown. So this will give you information as to when gangway carpets are being removed and things like that. So like I said, please do be patient during this time. There may be some reasons why you have to wait, but it is due to making sure that it is safe for everyone. If you have any questions pre-show or even on site, please do contact the operations team and your hall manager. And then if it's easier, please do store packing materials with GES Logistics as they can start delivering to your stand from 4:30. And in the interest of sustainability, please do consider recycling and reusing as much of your stand as possible. So if you do have any queries, if you've got any questions on breakdown, the timetable, anything that you want to chat to us about, please do contact us on exhibitor@gleebirmingham.com. So I'm now just going to pass over to our next person, which is Sarah from marketing.
Hi everyone, thank you Alice. I'm just going to take a few minutes just to talk through some of the marketing activities and how you can get involved in the show. So firstly, how to feature in our marketing campaign. We would love to feature you across our email, social and content campaigns. So what we're asking is if all exhibitors could send us up to kind of 5 lifestyle shots. There are some examples on the screen to the right. Send them through to us so that we can use them in our campaigns. There is a link in this slide deck, but also if you go into the eZone under the marketing section, there is a link where you can upload your images. If you could please on your images just add your company name and sector, that would be brilliant. So thank you. Sorry, just bear with me. I can see that the slides are moving. Bear with me. If you could send those through to us, thank you. Secondly, our social media campaign. We have a total of 19,000 followers across all our various social media channels. So please join in the conversation, send us your lovely images and we can post them. Also, I've included the relevant hashtags as well. So please include that as well, would be brilliant. So kind of finally, just a few kind of top tips from marketing. As I said, if we could have up to 5 high resolution images of your product ranges, if you could send us to us as soon as you can, and where possible, we'll always try to link through to your profile on the exhibitor zone as well. Secondly, please invite your buyers to come and see you at the show. There is a range of different marketing assets and banners, etc. In the eZone, who my colleague Jo will kind of take you through shortly. And also all retailers will also get access to the buyers lounge on site. Thirdly, make sure you tag us where you can in all your social media posts around Glee this year. And finally, if you haven't already, if you could just make sure that your profile is up to date on the eZone for maximum visibility. We get a high amount of traffic from our website going through to these pages, so it's great to get as much information on there as possible. I'm going to pass you over to Kimberly from our PR agency, who's going to take you through some of the PR activities happening at the show. Thank you.
Kimberly, you're on mute. Sorry, just very quickly.
Apologies. Amateur hour apologies, everybody. Hello. So yes, I run all the PR for Glee, working alongside the marketing and social media teams, as already mentioned. So the way that we do PR, we try and make it very, very easy for our exhibitors. I appreciate that you've already had an awful lot of information, lots of deadlines. So what we like to do is keep it very, very simple. And what we say is that in order to engage with us on our PR program, so the PR program is about promoting the show and, of course, our exhibitors as well in a range of different things. So some of it will be news, some of it will be feature-led. We might look to do miniature interviews. We might look to you for comment, for example. But in the first instance, to save complicating it for you, what we ask is that if you have any content about what you're doing at the show, so whether it's catalogues, whether it's news releases, whether it's images, or if you just want to drop us an email just to give us a general flavour of what you're doing, what I can then do is go through that content for you. I can identify the opportunities that are going to work best. I might come back to you and ask for more. But what I'll do where I can throughout the PR program is include you within the content that we're working on. So there are no deadlines. I'm not going to give you any sort of complicated sort of formats in which I require stuff. It really just is a case of send over as much as you can, keep in touch with us and talk to us as much as you can. We do have a guide to Glee PR, which does talk about some of the other opportunities as well. So it dives a bit deeper into what some of those content ideas are around features and news releases, things like our exhibitor bulletins as well. But we also have things like press diary, and then we have opportunities on site. So we have our Glee press office where you can house some of your news. If you want to reach out to some editors, that's a perfect place to do that. We also have the VIP goodie bags, which I'll shortly be communicating with exhibitors about. Great opportunity to get your product into the hands of key buyers and media, etc. So that's all in the guide. My email address is at the bottom of the slide there. So if you want to drop me a line, ask me any questions, there's myself and my team. I can do all the necessary intros, but like I say, we'll keep it very simple. Just get in touch, tell us what you're up to, and we can do all the hard work for you. Thank you. Joe, over to Joe now.
Let's second to kick in there. My name is Joe. I'll be taking you through this section on the eZone. This section is slightly different because I tend to do it live rather than with slides. So because nothing ever goes wrong with live television. Just bear with me a split second while we get that moving. So you should now be able to see, and I hope you can, the Glee homepage. Now, you should be able to log on to your eZone profile from anywhere on the Glee website. So it doesn't matter which page we're on. In the top right-hand corner, you'll see the eZone login button. If we click into that, this is our login page. You'll have received your logins by now, your username and password. If you haven't, do remember to check your spam and junk folders. They have a wily habit of finding their way into there. If you can't see them in your spam folder and you haven't seen it in your inbox and you're live on the call today, drop us a message and we'll sort it in real time. If you're seeing this as a recording, drop customer success an email and we'll get a fresh set of logins sent straight over to you. And we're in. So when you log in, you'll land, as you can see on the right-hand side, on the Exhibitor Zone homepage. And this is where we have some general information introducing you to the Exhibitor Zone, but also anything that we think is imminent or important. So we actually update this area regularly. So do check back in. If we have something like an upcoming deadline that we want to make you vividly aware of, then we'll typically highlight this pretty much near the top of the Exhibitor Zone homepage section. On the left-hand side, this is the menu navigation from which you can access all areas of the eZone alongside your logo, which will be not Glee, I suspect, your name and stand number. I typically break this menu down into sort of 4 sections, which I'll just skim over now, just in case it makes it easier to process. So home, add contacts, exhibitor manual, to-do list, my profile. This is all the admin section. So it's the basic information around your profile, who you are, your logo, stuff like that, as well as the really important, critical and necessary information for your on-site experience in the exhibitor manual, as well as things like to-do list and some delegation abilities that we'll come back to. From there, we've got the libraries, products, brochures, press releases, your opportunity to upload material to your own profile for our user to see. Then we have the filters. So product categories, company type, on-site product trails associated with. These are opportunities for you to tag yourself against certain initiatives that are all filters on the exhibitor list, designed to make you much more findable. So if you like, the libraries are fleshing out the profile itself, and the filters are helping our users find you. And we'll go through those in a little bit more detail as we go through. And then somewhat intuitively, the marketing support, invite your buyers, our new product awards, and contact us is the support area where we give back to you and make your experience a little bit simpler. There's also a profile completion percentage at the bottom that's live updated as you complete things. And if you click on that at any point, it will in fact take you to the to-do list, which I'll do now to demonstrate in real time so that I can see if anything goes wrong. And so here you are. So, and each item on your to-do list, if you click into it, will also take you to that section of the eZone. So that can be a very simple way of getting through your completion. While we're on the to-do list, I just want to point out, so I've been at Hive now for about 4 years and in events going back a fair bit longer than that. And in the dozens and dozens and dozens of shows I've done, the data is unequivocal that the more you complete your profile in advance and the earlier you do it, the better your on-site experience is. We know across all of our brands, in fact, that the exhibitor list is consistently the most viewed page on the website, both from people looking to register and already registered visitors. They use that exhibitor list to prep their day, who they're going to see, the order they're going to see them in, whether they've got time. We can guarantee, if you like, just out of consistency, that visitors are on that exhibitor list. What you've got to do by populating this profile is make yourself findable, because they know they're looking for specific things. And this eZone is your opportunity to say exactly what you do and make sure that the people looking for what you do find you. In terms of things like having a really engaging company description, your marketing and stuff on here, once they've found you, that's how you make sure that you're on their to-do list to see you on the day. So please do think about this in terms of completing this profile is your setup to having a great on-site experience. Don't think of it as admin, even though I've already used that phrase. I think. Don't think of it too much as admin. This is your opportunity to give yourself a springboard into an amazing few days on site. Okay. So from the top, we've seen the homepage. And whilst I'm encouraging you to populate this thoroughly, it doesn't have to be all you. So we've built in a delegation tool here. So you can add any contact within your own business and grant them logins to this profile by using the Add Contacts button. It might be that you have other people in the marketing team, or you have a marketer that you want to be logged in doing this for you. This is your opportunity to send them out logins and say, hi, this section is more relevant to you, or I need you to have a look at it. So feel free to get someone else to do it as long as it's all completed for you. Alice has touched on the exhibitor manual and how important that is, and there are some necessary forms in here. So all you have to do to enter the exhibitor manual, you'll find it on the left-hand side, and then you click that button there. Click here to access your exhibitor manual, and you'll be transported straight in to your populated and personalized exhibitor manual. Okay. The to-do list we've already talked about. Again, you can click on any of these items and it will take you directly to the area of the eZone that deals with that. It can be a very useful way of tracking your progress if you don't do it all in one go. And my profile. The nuts and bolts of the eZone, really, the my profile. So this is where you are putting in a lot of the mandatory information, a lot of the core stuff. So uploading your logo, your company description for the website, and your company description and name for the show guide. These are different because of the character limits. You can be a lot more verbose, if you like, on the website because we don't have character limits. So take that into consideration, that when you're writing for the show guide, obviously there's limited printed space and it's very important that this is completed. So again, that when we have that on-site experience, you have complete control over everything being right and how you want it. Okay. Also, your contact information for that stuff, website URL, email address, etc. There's also your social media links in here as well, and tags. There may be, this is sort of your manual opportunity to say, Joe, you've built an eZone, but you don't know my products as well as you think, and I'm sure I don't. And you haven't included my exact product category, or you haven't included something that is unique to me, a brand name or something like that. In here under tags, you can type in anything you want, any word, and what it will do is it will tell the search function in our exhibitor list that if they were to type that in, you are relevant to that term. So if there's something that we haven't built for you and you think, well, I've got this awards program, or I've got this new product that a few people know about and are looking for, but it's not in your category setup, type that in here and it will make even our free field work for you. Okay. Let's move on. So now into the libraries. So product imagery, again, probably one of the most vital and looked at elements. If you upload products, it's a much higher chance that once they've found you, if they can see the product, they're more likely to be there on site and want to go and, you know, potentially touch and feel it or see it in real life, get some scale to it. So here, obviously, name of the product, upload relevant imagery. So pop your description in, assign it to product categories, because again, products themselves have filtering so that visitors can try and find a very specific item. This is your opportunity to say that, and the relevant sector for it. Okay. When you tag by sector, by the way, it will also pull into the show sector page. So it is important that you do this because we will filter products specifically on those pages so that users looking at the sector can scroll down and see products relevant just to them. Okay. Brochures and press releases work in the same way. They're uploadable documents. So let's go into the filters. We've seen the product categories because we have it per product. You can go through and select the area that's most relevant to you. Company type, again, intuitive, hopefully. On-site product trails. So sustainability, just as an example, there's a couple of things here, but sustainability is an ongoing hot topic across all industries, it feels like. This is, again, an opportunity for users to say, well, we have an initiative, for example, to only source products from companies that make certain commitments. You can actually select what commitments you are making or have made, and users will be able to search by that. Okay. We also have the Made in Britain and an indoor plants and accessories trail. Okay. If you're associated with a particular area at Glee, we have sort of cluster areas like the Gema Business Village, Green Heart Innovator Zone. You can let users know that you're a part of that group here. And then we're into the support area. Sarah mentioned earlier, correctly so, that we have all these different emails, banners, and such things. All of this stuff is for you, obviously, for free, and logos for you to use in your own marketing campaign. To get these, all you have to do is right-click on any given banner, click Save the Image As, and then save it in the format that you desire. They're by default PNGs, and you can just name it and drop it wherever you need it to go. We also have the Invite Your Buyers section, which is a little bit more, not complicated, a little bit more interesting perhaps. This is where we have a builder, an asset builder for you. So if you want to customize your banners, you can do so here. All you have to do, once I've opened it like so, is click on this cog in the bottom left, click on the Fields tab, and you can say, I'll just say test company, because if I write Glee, it might be confusing for me. And test stand 1. Then, if I were to come out of that, you'll see that that is actually populated with my not very creative fake company name and stand. And then you can just click on that button in the bottom right, and it will automatically download it as an asset for you. So we have under marketing support, we have lots of generic banners split into all different sizes for you. And in the Invite Your Buyers section, we have this custom invite builder. Okay. The new product awards, I'm sure Trevor's going to touch on this, but so I won't go into that too much, but this is your opportunity to enter the new product awards and talk about all the amazing new stuff that you're doing, so that users and visitors to the event get really excited about what's new in the industry. So we support that alongside Garden Trade News, and yeah, Trevor's going to go into it, so I don't want to steal thunder too much on that one. Finally, if you do have any issues at all whilst I'm on the call, you can Q&A me, but afterwards we have this contact information here for you to get in touch with our customer success team. I'm sure would be more than happy to assist you. If you forget everything else I've said today, and I won't blame you if you do, please just remember that basically successful exhibitors have very populated exhibitor zones. So we can guarantee that people are looking at the exhibitor lists. You just need to make sure that you're findable to ensure that those people know who they want to see when they turn up on site. So now I have the pleasure, when I stop sharing my own screen, of passing you on to Natalie McGuinness, who's our Community Development Director. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Natalie, the Community Development Director, and I'm new to Glee. I used to be a buyer at Marks and Spencer's in fashion, but I've been to many trade shows and helping the Glee team reach out to the community who visited the show to inform them all of the benefits about attending Glee, what's happening, what's on, who the great exhibitors are. And so it's an exciting new role, and there's lots to come in this space. So it's an exciting time. We just wanted to remind you to use the Q&A box, and please type in any questions you might have or any feedback, so we know it's all making sense to you. So part of the things I've been doing as part of the community development work is creating lookbooks for the show. And there's going to be 2 lookbooks, one for new to Glee, so new exhibitors this year to Glee, and then one for top 10 per sector. So these are going to be issued to the buyers 2 weeks before the show, so they can visually see what you do on a page. It's a real window for you to showcase your brand, what you offer, what your USP is, and to get them visually logged in their minds, so they want to come and visit you at the show. The next thing I am offering is a product finder service. I'm asking the buyers to tell me what they're looking to source, and I can suggest exhibitors for them to check out. So there's been a couple of those already, and I'm on a mission at the moment to make sure all the buyers know that service is available. And then lastly, I'm going to be meeting with the buyers at the show and before the show to hear their feedback on what they think about the show, to take the good points and the bad points so we can improve, but also then inform them of future services that we're going to be offering. The next page, if I can move, how do I move it? Like that. So this is just an example of the lookbook. So this is just one page, the front cover on the left hand side, and then the right showing one page example of, if you're new to Glee, the type of exposure you can have. So text on the left hand side, your social media handles and your website on the bottom left, and then to the right all about images. I find, and from personal experience, buyers are very image driven people, and this kind of information will stick in their mind and bring you to the forefront of wanting them to come visit your stand when you're at the show. For top 10 exhibitors, we've allowed 2 pages. So their first page, all about the brand, what you do, what you stand for. So if there are new people to the industry, they know what you're about. And then the second page can allow you to showcase your new products that you are bringing to the show this year. And as I said, this will be emailed links, there'll probably be to buyers 2 weeks before the show. So we hope that's another great reason for you to be at Glee, and also you find that we are really showcasing your product to the buyers who are going to be visiting. And that is me. So I'm handing over now to Trevor from GTM. Thanks, Trevor.
Thanks, Natalie. Hello, everybody. I hope this is working really well because I'm live from Baytree Garden Centre near Spalding. And I'm just going to tell you a little bit about what GTN, the team at GTN, do to help you with make your Glee experience a huge success. We're the official media partners, and the first thing that we do for Glee is produce the planner, which gets mailed out to every single registered exhibitor before the show. So that's a key thing to let people know you're there. And then we produce the Glee show guide, which has listings of every single exhibitor and plenty of opportunity for people to advertise what they're doing at the show, which we'll talk about in a moment with a couple of the Garden Centre people that are with me at the moment. It's really important that buyers to Glee know what you're showing so they can make a point of visiting you. Then we produce the Glee Daily News, which is opened over 100,000 times before and during the show. It's an email newsletter. It's packed full of all the information of what exhibitors are doing. You can buy editorial and advertising in it, again, to enhance your Glee visits. And of course, it has all the information about the Glee New Product Awards when they're judged and announced. And if what you should do is make sure you enter any new products you've got at Glee into the new product showcase. It gives a chance for them to be displayed in the new product showcase, which is visited by a lot of visitors at the start of their visit to Glee. And after the judges have done their initial judging, we invite the top 3 in each of the categories to come along and pitch to the judges live on stage before the actual winners are decided and announced on Wednesday evening. Sorry. So it's a great accolade to win a Glee New Product Award, as many of you will know. And lastly, before I start talking to some Garden Centre buyers who I have with me here at Baytree, can I give a plug for Floral Thursday at Greenfingers? So on the last day of the show, we like to have a bit of fun. We invite everybody to dress up in their floral gear. And yes, as you can see, I'm doing that today. But to dress up in floral gear, take part in the fundraising raffle for Greenfingers, and hopefully we'll also set again a new world record for the number of people from the garden industry at a trade show in floral gear on Thursday at Glee. So that's That's a bit about us and what GTN do for Glee and for all the Glee exhibitors to help you have a great show. If you want to get hold of us, talk to me or Alan, my colleague, who handles all the advertising and advertorial bookings. But most importantly, now what I need to do is let's test the technology, because with me here at Baytree Garden Centre, if I do that, you can see with me I've got Nigel Wallace and John Birch from Baytree, two seasoned veterans of buying at Glee, and hopefully they're going to give us some hints and tips as to what's good and what's not about what they see at Glee. So Nigel, can I start off with you? What are the real things that make you visit a stand at Glee?
Well, morning, Trevor. Morning, everybody. Main things we're walking around looking for great products on display, something to entice you onto the stand, some really good smiley stuff on there, and obviously a nice hot coffee in the morning when we get there as well. It needs to be good coffee, by the way, just to get us really on it, get us going.
Yeah, because you were saying that there are stands that you visited first at every show because you know they do good coffee, yeah?
That's very true, yeah. There's certain ones there, probably the ones from Holland and so on, who bring their coffee on their coffee machines with them. And,
right, so there's a challenge there to all the UK exhibitors to improve their coffee.
Get some good coffee on there, yeah. Good coffee.
And what about being approached by people who are on the edge of their stand and stop and say hello to you? Is that something you like?
Yeah, by all means. Yeah, I mean, I think it's always the personal touch as in within the garden centre. It's the same when we're dealing with our suppliers as well. That's the way to approach people. Get entices on a nice smile in the morning, and yeah,
good stuff. Good. And John, what about the things that you really hate or make you not visit a stand? Can you give us some examples of those?
I really dislike seeing people on phones. I understand that some of you have got to contact key buyers that you're making appointments with, but if you're going to do that, step off the stand, do it out the way or go out the back. Don't be stood on the stand looking at the floor. That I will walk straight past anybody that's like that.
Okay. And what about if you've made contact with somebody at Glee? What are the things that people should do straight afterwards? You gave me a great example just the other day.
So if I take the time to give you my details because I'm interested in a product, I would like reciprocation. If I say to you, please come and see me, please come and see me. You've got my details. Email me. One company who will remain nameless, I saw them at Glee 18 months ago. They've only just made contact. Now you should say, well, perhaps John, you should have contacted them. I did, because I really liked the product. I contacted them. They said they would come and see me. They didn't come and see me. But a new area rep has got on the case now, and he came in last week. I've now placed an order, and it's coming Friday.
Good.
So yeah, please follow through. If someone's taken the time to give you their details, they're interested.
For doing that interview, because I'm not sure I turned the
Good.
that's good.
Did I
turn the camera around? No. I'm just wondering if anybody has got any questions for Nigel or John. I can't see that at the moment. It's because the video froze, but hopefully they can see you now.
Good morning.
We had a technical hitch. Sorry, guys.
Trevor, we can see you. We can see you now, and actually, we can see Nigel and John. Hello, good to see you.
Did you hear what our conversation though?
We heard everything. It's great.
Oh,
we
good.
just short. Your face was just frozen, Trevor. So don't worry. So no. We can see the bigger picture now.
He does that when he comes shopping here, Matthew. When I tell him his face freezes.
Yeah.
Like, I've got a question actually. I've got a question. what attracts you onto a stand? What are the main things that you're looking for when you're approaching a stand at a show? That's for both of you.
So I'll go first. I like to see the new products at the front. Nigel and I buy for different areas, and all my main suppliers, I know who they all are, and I know that I'll get to them in the afternoon. But I like to see something new on the front of the stand, and then that will attract me. I don't want to see the same thing that I saw the year before, if that makes sense. So I would push the new stuff to the front.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. And obviously using the new product area, which is obviously when we go straight to when we get there to look at. And then obviously we can then go looking for those suppliers. So they need to make sure that whatever they've got in the new product bits is on their stand, so we can get to it and see it and be drawn over to it.
Also, as well, just adding, I've gone back to phones, but a couple of times during the day, I will go on and check what GTN have put on there, be it videos or something that Trevor has seen, and if it takes your fancy, then I will go and find it.
There you go.
Yeah. Matthew, you've got any other questions?
Yeah, there's another one here actually.
Right. Okay.
So for both, again, how do you prepare for the show? What info do you like to look at pre-show when planning your visit?
Obviously, the Glee show guide is a favourite for me that we can write on. I've got it, and we can make notes. And obviously, we then GTN news coming through before we go there. Then we'll make lists from that as well.
Yeah, I tend to go through the show guide looking for companies that I've never heard of. Now, I would say the majority of them are not in my sector, but I will go past them and have a look, because like everybody, you're always looking for that thing that is different and is new. So, yeah.
Something to complement each other's departments as well. That's the other thing, So, yeah.
Yeah.
I think linked into that question as well, just talking about the experience of walking on a stand. So you've seen the new products at the front of the stand. You want to see what's new. You go and check the new products area out. What is your expectation of an exhibitor at the show? What is your minimum expectations in terms of how they would approach you?
How they would approach us? Well, obviously, as we said, a smiling face, and obviously not smelling of curry from the night before. And stuff, but I'd like to think that they're all ready to go as well with brochures, with price lists, so they know what the prices are going to be.
And product knowledge.
Yeah, product knowledge. And then obviously, if we're convinced into it, want to buy it, we need to make sure they've got stock of it that can be ordered in and sold through and topped up when needed. Yeah.
And you mentioned as well about the 18-month follow-up from one of the exhibitors that showed a couple of years ago. What's the sort of standard time you'd expect in terms of a follow-up from one of our exhibitors?
A minimum, a month, but even that is a bit too long. I know they got hundreds of leads, but I mean, personally, I would send an email out a generic email out within the first week, just making contact and saying, we're working our way through and we will be in touch. Thank you for your interest in our stand or display or whatever it is.
Just acknowledging receipt, I suppose.
Yeah, and then also as well, depending on how interested you are as a buyer, because emails can get lost, you can then make contact with them.
Yeah, that makes sense. And actually, one last question from me, actually, just looking at what you're particularly looking for this year on your shopping list. Have you got any things that you're thinking of this year that you really want to find at the show? Here you go. Here's a helpful hint or tip for the exhibitors on the call. So are there any must-haves this year that you're after?
So for me, in the landscaping, there's the big hitters of Kelkay, Altico, Meadowview, Deco Pack. So you're just looking for something that will complement whoever you deal with in the big four.
The big four. If they're listening, they're going to like that, John.
Let's hope that they're all there exhibiting this year, Matthew.
Absolutely,
On the garden sundry side, Nigel, is there any particular things you're hoping that you'll see at Glee this year?
Well, I suppose the compost thing is still an interesting issue. So obviously, still looking for maybe different suppliers on peat-free or whatever else they're trying to sell us. And again, to make sure that if we go with something like that we've got the products, because I think there's a bit of a struggle out there at the moment for us to get the products to make peat-free compost and supply it in. So, but yeah, and then always looking for new stuff.
That's what I was going to ask you. How important for you is it for you and to be presenting new products to your customers each year, and therefore, the importance of new at Glee?
Yeah, always very important, I think. And it's always something that is then going to complement what we're doing. Also gives us something to showcase. So when people are walking in, there's like new this year or new coming soon. And so it's just nice little bullet points and get people interested and get customers talking.
Yeah,
and helps keep the centres fresh.
Yes. Yeah. So actually, that's one really good key thing is that if it's new, flag it up as being new. Definitely. Make sure it's really obvious. Yep. And B, if it's new, enter it in the new product award so it gets seen twice, and you never know it has a chance of winning an award. So
that's right. So, and it's free. For want of a word, it's free publicity.
Oh, the new product award is definitely new product showcase. Yeah.
We had a couple of questions as well that have cropped up from people on the call. So Stephen Christian has asked a question: do you tend to make appointments to visit exhibitors before the show, before the show, at the Glee party, or do you prefer to walk around the stand as you go?
Yeah, I prefer to walk around the stands as I go. Yeah. And obviously normally there for a couple of days, so if we have to make an appointment, we'll make it for the next day anyway. But no, I like to just casual.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Another question we've had from Mike Fenner-Warner: is it beneficial to have order forms ready on the stand so buyers can place orders there and then, or will buyers likely need more time to think about whether to place an order or not?
Well, I think in the good old days, I'm still a big believer. Obviously, we need to be at the show. We need to be at the show to support our suppliers and new suppliers in the industry. So, and originally years ago, there would be Glee deals, Glee offers that you would probably buy into while you're there. So, if they've got the stock, and I think especially now, with it being June time, it could be really great stuff there for us to be selling Christmas time or autumn time. So you should be able to take some orders at the show to get it in this year and get it rolling.
Yeah. Glee deals. We haven't had Glee deals for years.
Yeah.
But you also said it was really, you made a comment to me last year, Nigel, that it was useful seeing all the new things at Glee in June and then having the stuff for next year and then having some time to come back to the centre, talk about it, find out some more details and then place your orders. You found that useful, yeah?
I certainly did, because normally September time, obviously we're there, we come back, we're in the midst of building Christmas, and it's just, you're just so busy, literally, right to December.
Yeah.
And a lot of time you not so much forget, but it slips your mind, whereas this last year, we had to sit and talk about it, like, and plan stuff for next year better.
Yes. Yeah. Good.
Being hands-on buyers, of course, because we're all flat out on the shop floor as well. We don't just sit in an office buying, so that's the difference probably with us.
Yeah. Well, same with most garden centres. They've got the buyers are also the department people running departments, aren't they?
Which is the best way.
Yeah, because you know exactly what people are after, don't you?
That's right.
Yeah. So linked to, I mean, how many people do you tend to bring up to Glee as a business, and how long do you stay for?
We will go up the first day with probably 5 people. And then I'll normally then stay over and then meet up then with John and 3-4 others the next day. So we tend to try and get a person from each department there over a couple of days to be involved, and even people who aren't buyers, we like to take a couple of them, just let them have a look and walk around, and they might pick something up that we've missed, So.
And that's quite important for exhibitors to know, that actually anybody from a garden centre could be at Glee, and they don't necessarily have to have a buying role, but they could be influencing a buying role, couldn't they?
Yeah,
so really, they should stop and talk to everybody. who's from a garden centre, shouldn't they?
You never know who you're talking to. No different than us on the shop floor. You never know who you're talking to.
Yeah, you never know who's going to buy that £2,000 set of garden furniture to do until you have a conversation with them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they're coming in soon.
Well, you had a record day on furniture the other day.
We did. It's just a little bit like,
You need a few more of them, don't you?
I've had a couple of questions on the home and gift sector, because we've got over 100 companies in the home gifting sector this year. Will that be something that you guys will look out for at Glee as well?
Talking about home gifts. So who buys home gifts? That's
we have probably Geet and Maria sort of getting involved in that, and it's a bit of a mix, that one. So we have a sort of 2 or 3 people,
right.
girls involved.
But they'll be going to Glee.
Yes,
Yeah. So Matthew, if unfortunately there's a Danish trolley going past us at the time, because we are live in a garden centre.
Exactly. You need the authentic noises, even though you've got the tape recorder on, just making those noises, I'm sure.
This isn't a green screen.
Nigel was saying, yes, the home and gift buyers will be going to Glee, because they always do, because there's always things to find.
Yeah. And this year's a record year as well. I think over 100 companies showing in the home and gift section as well. So there'll be lots of interesting items that I think, especially that timing works well, does it? Just pre-Christmas in terms of thinking about stock, you might last minute items to think about in the build up to Christmas.
Yeah, definitely. It's a good idea.
Fantastic.
I don't know if I'm in a minority or the majority, but I actually like the fact that Glee has moved to now. It gives you more time. I also think it'll help the suppliers as well as help us, because they can make sure that the stock's in, ready to go.
Yeah. Good.
Excellent. That's why we're on the June dateline as a result of that feedback. So that's definitely something that is here to stay.
Good. Any other questions come up on that? Because unfortunately, I'm not able to see the chat, Matthew. Sorry.
No questions. I think are all complete. I think there's such a comprehensive answers. I think we've probably covered off quite a bit there. So we're just slightly over now. It's coming up to 10 to 12 now. So if I hand back to Rosanna, if that's okay, Rosanna. Yeah, sorry, you're still there. It's fine.
Yeah, Matthew, can I just say, just to all the exhibitors, it's one thing, I'm not sure if you mentioned it at the beginning, but can I ask them to resist from buying lists of so-called Glee attendees? I'm getting hundreds of emails of so-called buying the list of Glee attendees. They're all scams. It's all rubbish. If you want to influence Glee attendees, use the Glee website, use the Glee Daily News, use the Glee catalogue. There are really good ways of doing it and getting right to Glee people that are going to visit Glee, rather than get tricked into buying from these scammers that are just trying to sell you data that has no value at all.
Yeah, I agree with you, and that's something that for everyone to be aware of. If you get offered any data or lists purporting to be any Glee 2023 exhibitor visitor data, it's incorrect. It's not true. So please ignore those emails, and we are asking those companies to cease and desist what they do as well. So they unfortunately keep cropping up, but please ignore them when you get them through. Other than that, we are now, as I say, 5 weeks away. Thank you for listening today as well.
Thanks,
and
everybody.
Please take advantage of all these opportunities, all the feedback that you've got. So I'm going to pass you back to Rosanna, and personally, I look forward to seeing you in 6 weeks' time.
What you have to do is turn the camera around, and then you have to. What I missed was.
Thank you very much, Matt. Thank you, Trevor. Thank you to all of our presenters today. I think there was one last question remaining from Leslie there.
Sorry, Trevor, very quickly. Trevor, could you go on mute? Sorry. Thank you. Yes, sorry,
Thank you, Matt. So Leslie's asked, may I know the submit deadline of the exhibitor profiles on the Glee website? So the Glee website, it's updated right to the show. So the specific print deadlines are something, I don't know, Trevor, if you want to touch on that briefly. I think we may have lost Trevor. We may have lost Trevor, but if there's any other questions, please feel free to reach out to us alternatively at exhibitor@gleebirmingham.com.
I was going to answer very quickly on that, submitting the exhibitor profiles. Now is the time. Trevor, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you now. Sorry.
That's great. So, yeah, so a question asks when the deadline is to submit the exhibitor profiles on the Glee website. So from an exhibitor point of view on the website, it basically is do it as soon as possible if you want to take advantage of being seen by the visitors. But from a catalogue point of view, which obviously is just as key, when is the deadline, Trevor?
Oh, Matthew, off the top of my head, it's about 2 weeks before the show.
Yeah. So we're talking about the second week of June.
Yeah, second week of June to be included in the show guide.
But do it now. Best thing is get it out of the way in the next week or two, and then that's one off your to-do list, I would say.
Yes, the other key deadline is the deadline for entering new products, and that is the Thursday. The final deadline for entering new products into the new product showcase is the Thursday before Glee. But again, it makes awful sense to do it beforehand. If you know what your new products are, get them entered now, because the entry form is live on the exhibitor zone.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Trevor. Thank you once again, everyone, for joining today. The presentation and the PowerPoint deck itself will be shared afterwards. But again, any questions, do submit to the email address. I'll hold the slide here for a few moments just so you can take that down if needed. But thank you very much, everyone, and have a lovely rest of your day.